Hello there, welcome. Thank you for joining me. We're back at the table playing Arkham Horror, the card game. Today we are going to look at Skids O'Toole, the resident rogue in the core set. He's a rogue. He also dabbles in Guardian cards. We'll take a look at the rear side of this card in a second. Let's go ahead and just check out his numbers and the special text that he has. He has a willpower of 2, so he's not the bravest of the bunch. His intellect and combat are both quite average at 3 each, so he's not going to have too much difficulty gaining clues and fighting enemies, and neither is he particularly specialised in that. He has agility 4, so he is pretty good at evading enemies should he wish to do so. He has the option there. He can, rather than like the Wendy game we did, where evasion really is her only option when it comes to enemies, he can at a pinch actually do some fighting and dodge around them, exhaust the enemy should he think that would be more beneficial. His special text: during your turn spend 2 resources. If you do this, you may take an additional action this turn, limit once per turn. The lightning symbol there just represents a free ability whereby you don't have to spend an action to do it, but you can't just build up 10 resources and then get 5 free actions one after the other. It is limited to once per turn. His Elder Sign effect when he's pulling from the Chaos bag is a +2 modifier, and if he succeeds he gains 2 resources. So we're already getting a little taste of the theme, perhaps of Skids, perhaps of just rogue cards in general. They want to acquire resources, acquire in air quotes there I guess, and then use those resources to fuel the various abilities that they have. Skids' main ability being to get extra turns. 4 actions a turn is massive over 3 actions. We'll take a look at his unique cards and then move on to the class cards and drop the neutral row into place. His negative card is a weakness. It is similar to the weakness that we saw in the Roland deck when we were just doing the tutorial mode as advised in the rulebook. It isn't something that impacts the scenario that you're currently in, but it is going to impact further scenarios because it actually strips you of experience points, so you can't improve. Let's take a closer look. I hope you can read that. As a revelation effect, so as a revelation effect it never actually goes into your hand for whatever. It's probably important for certain interactions. As a revelation, as soon as you draw it, it goes straight into the play area, if that makes any sense. Put hospital debts into play in your threat area, and then as a free ability, again a free trigger, move 1 resource from your resource pool to hospital debts, and you may do this twice per round. It's not going to take any actions, remember, because it has the lightning symbol. And as a forced effect, when the game ends, if hospital debts has fewer than 6 resources on it, you earn 2 fewer experience for this scenario. I'm going to do similarly to the way I handled the Roland deck in one of those first videos. Because we're just playing scenario 1 and I don't intend on taking this into scenario 2, 3, it would be easy for me to ignore this card should it come up. But I will try to treat the card as if I care about it for campaign play, just to give it some weight, as I did with Roland. Skids' positive card is a 1-cost event with a whole truck ton of modifier icons in the corner. We have books, going to be great for just bumping up a investigation check to get a valuable clue. We've got the agility icon to help us with our dodging, and then 2 beautiful wild icons, super useful, super just there at a pinch when you need it. The special text on the card, however, it is fast, so we don't have to pay an action to play it. Play after your turn begins, and until the end of the round, non-elite enemies cannot attack you. So should we get into a bit of a pickle and surrounded by monsters, or in a position whereby we know that any damage from a certain monster is going to do us in, we have On the Lam to give us just a little bit of breathing space to try and turn it around. So those 2 cards are going to get put into our deck along with a basic weakness. Whoops, I don't want to pick up the ones back there. Let's grab these. drop it into the space. So Skids is going to want resources. So what are we going to get? Let's immediately just throw a couple of tokens onto emergency cash. Let's throw a couple of tokens onto burglary. I should fix that one of these days. See if I can get this sideboard perfectly horizontal so that the odd little go underneath it thing stops happening. So there's some economy for us. We're going to need some weapons. There's maybe, I think, like 4 weapons that we have to choose from. There's the machete down here and the 45 automatic. There is a 41 derringer up here and a switchblade. I'm going to take a look at the 2 green weapons first. You'll note switchblade has the requirement if you succeed by 2 or more. This attack deals +1 damage. It's nice that it's fast, but it doesn't actually do an awful lot for you unless you succeed by 2 or more. It's hard enough to succeed, full stop, period. So I'm not a huge fan of cards where you have to succeed by a certain amount. Similarly, for the 41 derringer, it also has some extra text there. If you succeed by 2 or more, the attack deals +1 damage. I'm not a fan of that. So I think we're going to take the machete, which is a really nice card assuming you are in a room with just a single enemy. And we'll probably take the 45 also, just to increase the chances of us drawing into a weapon, any weapon, whatever it takes weapon. If it comes to it, I'm going to put 2 tokens on for the time being, but if it comes to it, maybe I'll drop one of the automatic tokens if we find ourselves. Let's put this under there. So we've already used 8 of our cards. In the Guardian thing here, I do like these 2 allies. They're excellent. I think we're getting into expensive territory with the Beat Cop, but he's really strong. Just getting that base +1 combat strength, just sitting there, is really nice. And he has decent stats, 2 and 2 at the bottom. So you can drop 2 damage on him, 2 horror on him. I'm throwing tokens down with Wild Abandon, but I don't mind throwing the tokens down now, and then afterwards, once we count them all up and realise that we're at, say, 36 tokens, then taking another look and going, okay, we'll get rid of one of these pistols. So we'll drop 2 on there because I do like both of them. I would like to take at least one of these type of cards. For this one we get a bonus to our willpower and our combat, and for the hard knocks we can get a bonus to combat and agility. I think hard knocks suits Skids better. So let's drop 2 tokens on there. The willpower stat, it's not used an awful lot. There are some very nasty encounter cards that can do quite a bit of nasty damage to you if you aren't able to pass a willpower test. But they are, let's say, not few and far between so much, but less common than some other effects. So I don't want to put too much stress on making sure that I have a good willpower booster. We're going to ignore the knife. We'll take 2 flashlights for investigating the cellar. And then we can take a look at pickpocketing. Do I want to take pickpocketing? After you evade an enemy, which Skids is likely to do, at a pinch he will probably do evasion before he does combat. As long as you have pickpocketing in play, you can draw 1 card. It costs 2 to put down, so it's a bit of an investment, and then it's going to start replacing itself when/if you draw into enemies that you would rather evade. It's a little bit situational. We'll come back to pickpocketing. It's probably more useful for Wendy, the pickpocketing card, because it matters for Wendy to have a hand full of cards, that being the resource type that she spends for her benefit. So I'm not 100% on taking pickpocketing for Skids. There's a really nice ally here, Leo DeLuca, or an interesting ally. My personal opinion for this is that he doesn't suit Skids. I think he's going to be a good rogue card. He has special text, you may take an additional action during your turn, just a flat rule. As long as you have Leo out, you get 4 actions per turn. He costs 6. Leo doesn't benefit Skids as much as I'm assuming he will benefit other rogues / sub-rogues, because the benefit that Leo gives Skids is something that Skids can do himself. He can spend the 6 resources on Leo, or he could spend those 6 resources 2 per turn to get 3 actions. Obviously Leo gives you the 2 health and 2 sanity buffer, but I think I prefer Skids to gain extra actions per turn using his special ability rather than relying on a huge investment like Leo. I'm not sure, haven't made my mind up 100% on that, but that's my gut feeling at this point. And then moving into the skills. I think we're going to take 2 Unexpected Courage, because it is always just super nice to have these wild tokens, these wild icons, to use as a versatile option. Let's take a look at the Guardian ones. I think we're going to take Vicious Blow, because we are going to have to deal with the Ghoul Priest. And the extra icons combat, coupled with the +1 damage, can make all the difference versus the Ghoul Priest's 5 health. Dynamite Blast is an interesting one. It's just very, very expensive. Choose either your location or a connecting location and deal 3 damage to every enemy and investigator there. I have won 1 game specifically using Dynamite Blast against the Ghoul Priest. I was able to jump out the room and finish it off with Dynamite Blast. Can win you games. A little bit situational, and the icon that it gives you, just a single willpower icon, isn't exactly the most reliable benefit. I think I would rather take Dodge. It gives us more icons, it's much cheaper. We'll throw 2 on here for now. And Evidence is great, it's a fast card and you can play it after you defeat an enemy to get a single clue. It also comes with 2 intellect icons, so if you don't have an enemy at a location and you want to really make sure you succeed in an investigation check to grab a clue, you can use it that way also. What are we looking at? Yeah, we certainly are getting to our limit, if not already past our limit. I think similarly, we're going to take Perception. It's my favourite of these skill cards. Just having +2 to a clue grab is amazing. No 2 ways around it. We'll skip Overpower and the Agility and Guts for now, because I'm wary that we are really loading up on these tokens here. And let's take a look at these last cards up here. Sneak Attack and Backstab I love. We'll take a look at Elusive, but I don't think I'm going to take it. It's a fast card, 2 cost. Disengage with each enemy, engage with you, and move to a revealed location with no enemies. You don't evade. I think I mentioned this in the Wendy deck building. This isn't an evasion, so you don't exhaust an enemy. Any hunter enemy is still going to get to travel 1 space in the following phase. It does allow you to move to any revealed location with no enemies, so you can move 2 spaces away, 3 spaces away, as long as it's revealed. It could be a nice way to jump into the parlour, for example. No, that's not going to happen too often, because by the time the parlour is revealed, you're going to be in the hallway anyway, so perhaps that's not so versatile. I'm not going to take Opportunist, similar to the reason I gave at the start of the video. For it to pay for itself, or replace itself, come back into your hand, you need to succeed by 3 or more, which is really asking something. I'm going to drop tokens on Backstab and Sneak Attack. Just dealing an automatic 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location is amazing for someone like Skids with his 4 agility. Similarly, using agility instead of combat for a fight, and then it dealing +2 damage, is a Ghoul Priest killer, as we saw in our Wendy game. Let's count up our tokens, shall we? So I've doubled up on everyone, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, will you look at that? I was actually certain that I was maybe 6 cards overdue over the limit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is 30 cards. And because I don't care too much about building primo 100% min-max decks, we're just going to leave it there. We went with our gut, although we did not go with guts, but we went with our gut and picked 30 cards for our deck. I will draw the weakness now. You can see the weakness that I draw. What do we have? We have Paranoia. As a revelation effect, discard all of your resources. So, kind of bad for Skids right there. Let's be sure to use our resources, shall we? Because we know that this can pop up at any point. And that's it. I will put a cut in here, populate the table with the scenario cards, make this deck. I won't make you watch me copy paste 30 cards this time, don't worry. And yeah, if you are of a mind to, please do join me for the next video, and we will throw Skids into his study and see what comes of it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.